Recording from the original Wahlburgers location in Hingham, Massachusetts on February 14, 2018. Welcome back to Bob Ryan's Boston Podcast. Back with my friend Lesley Visser. Well, tell me just the globe that you entered as this young lady from Boston College. Tell us about your recollections of the world that you were entering here at the Boston Globe.
Oh, I will. But first of all, that's a fantastic, what you're endorsing there. Do you know there's one Olympian, we have to look him up, and he adopted 6 dogs from Sochi.
Oh, I'm aware that someone had, yes.
Yeah.
And of
we
course,
we have to start rooting for him.
And dogs are in people's minds, of course, now because of the fact of the dog, the dog on the menu in Korea, South Korea, and which is not a thing that we endorse very much in America. Anyway, okay.
No.
Yes. But it's a wonderful.
So I went to the Globe. I wrote for the Heights. My editor was, as you did, Mike Lupica, who could believe it, really. Really. People you think you're never going to see again, right? Mike Lupica and Lenny DeLuca, right?
Yes.
So,
who later had a long career in television. Okay.
Long career. And we all had our favorite year at both my weddings, 30 years apart.
Yes.
Paul Doherty was our favorite professor at BC for all of us, which was really amazing, the head of the English department. But I applied for something called the Carnegie Foundation Grant when I was I think I was a sophomore or junior, and it was given to women in America, 20 of them, to women in America who wanted to go into jobs that were 95% male, which really were all jobs in 1973. Really they were. So a woman from Michigan got it for archaeology. Radcliffe, I think, had not merged yet, and a woman there got it for ophthalmology. And I said I wanted to be a sports writer, so I'm sure that kicked right out of what passed for a computer back then. And we had all these interviews, down in, of course, Andrew Carnegie was our greatest philanthropist. How do you say philanthropist? Is that how you say it? Philanthropist.
Yeah, philanthropist.
Before like Gates and those people.
Yeah.
And so we had to go to Pittsburgh for a number of interviews then to New York. Yeah, and then I won one of them. So the deal was you could go to any paper in the country and the Carnegie Corporation would pay the stipend. So, of course, I went to the Globe. And do you know my famous story about when I covered high school football? Of course, I had the smallest division. You know this horrible story of mine?
Go ahead. We want to hear it.
I hope only the dogs are listening. Okay, so Shaughnessy had, Brockton, and Kevin DuPont had bigger than that. And all my schools had 2 names,
the regional, the regional schools.
Lincoln.
Don't forget Dighton Rehoboth.
Dighton Rehoboth, Lincoln, Sudbury.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a true story. One time I had to do the Martha's Vineyard Nantucket game. And, you had to take the ferry out there, and it's raining, and I'm doing all the stats myself with the other hand, and I got the umbrella. Yep. And you know how when you first learn football, and it's moving really fast, and they go up to the 50, and then they cross the 50. So you got to do the math, the yards there.
I did it. Yes, I know it well.
Okay. No, it was. Okay, so who cares? I give the kid an extra 20 yards, right? Who cares? Nobody's going to read it. In the Sunday Globe, we had to run back, stick it on the spike. You think it was the 1800s. So I give the kid 20 yards, and then the next time I give him 40 yards. I don't care. So finally in the Globe, the phone rings. Leslie, it's for you, and this is what I hear. Leslie, this is Coach Paul Brown of Alabama. I see from your clippings that you got a kid rushing for 500 yards a game up there.
No lie.
Is this somebody I ought to be looking at? I'm like, no, Coach. Coach, I really don't think. I really don't think this kid's for you. The kid was like 5'2", a fisherman's son.
Oh, that's great. I did not know that story. That's great.
Oh yeah, that was Thank God nobody really looked into those Division IV stories, or I would.
I'll tell you, those days of high school, though, I still maintain that every writer should do that apprenticeship of covering those high schools, walking those sidelines, keeping your stats, and it's just should be a rite of passage to become a sports writer. I really believe that. I did it. I covered high school football on and off for 5 years, including one whole year covering the Bay State League. So that was very important stuff, I thought.
Yeah, you learned from it. And then, I would remember I'd walk into the Globe, and I think you and Peter started on the exact same day.
Yes.
And I always tell people that you guys were the original PTI. I mean, that was the original PTI. I'm sure that's where John Walsh got the idea from, because that's what it was. And do you remember everybody smoked?
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah,
that's how I remember. And I remember, too, when Will McDonough, who was the only guy, right, who he could get Pete Rozelle on one phone and Al Davis, who hated each other, on the other phone. Yes. And then I remember when Will McDonough would go home, we'd all dive under his desk to get his Rolodex.
There was nobody like Will. I was going to ask you about your reminiscence of Will. We had son Sean as a podcast guest last summer, and he of course grew up right here down the street from where we're sitting. But Willie was unique. Do you think it's a safe statement to say that in terms of the relationships that he nurtured and the way he went about his business, that there will never again be another Will McDonough in American sports writing?
No, I think you all were like that, at least to me. I mean, I remember Will called Billy Sullivan and said, we're going to have a woman cover the Patriots, and that's that.
Yep.
And I would go to Wimbledon, and I would say, hi, I'm Lesley Visser from the Boston Globe. I work with Bud Collins. I would do the same at the NBA Finals. Hi, I'm Lesley Visser from the Globe. I work with Bob Ryan. No, I think people, I couldn't believe when I got to TV that everyone wasn't like that.